Hello and welcome to this special presentation of the Ouachita Sports Digital Network presented by Taylor King Law. I'm Chase Hartsell and I am joined at this time by a very special guest, the 11th coach in the history of Ouachita women's basketball, Kiley Hill. Coach, welcome to Tiger Nation.
Well, thanks, Chase. I'm glad to be here. You know, a decade plus one, I'll take it. So it's all good.
So, Coach, you were talking before this. It's really been kind of a drinking by the fire hose kind of week for you.
It really has, yeah.
Can you tell us maybe about some of your experiences as you've gotten acclimated to this new position?
Well, you know, one of the biggest things for me was to initially, you know, the most important thing that you have taking over any program is the people. You know, so I've tried to really pour in over the last 48 to 72 hours since I came on board on Monday, is really just trying to get to know people, meet people face to face, and more importantly, our players, our team. You know, currently there's 11 returning players. There were 2 kids who were signed early, so I was able to make contact with them finally part of Monday and yesterday. So it's just, that's part of it. You're just trying to make sure that you're consistently communicating with people, finding out what they do, where they're from, and see if there's some mutual connections, because you've been here a while and you understand it's about relationships. It's about people that those things that really help you have an opportunity to really get out of the gate very well. And people here at Ouachita have been absolutely incredible over the last 72 hours, and hopefully we can keep it for well beyond those hours.
Well, Coach, you talked about relationships and ties. You are no stranger to the state of Arkansas and even some of the programs that are now found in the Great American Conference. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, you know, my background, I've been very blessed. It's unbelievable. You know, I'm originally from, I tell everybody, which we were talking off air, I'm originally from Hot Springs, Arkansas. You get technical. I graduated from Lake Hamilton High School. You get deeper. I'm from Piercy, Arkansas. You get more technical. I'm from Oma Community. So having that relationship, and then when I left, went to college, I went to Arkansas Tech, played baseball there, and then I had the opportunity, once I finished my undergraduate degree, or close to it, I was able to work with the women's program there under the legend Joe Foley, Hall of Famer in the state, who gave me my start in college coaching. Was there 2 years with him, and then had the opportunity I got married on August the 17th, actually August the 10th, and moved to Livingston, Alabama on August 17th. I took my wife, former Molly Longing, all the way from Russellville/London, Arkansas to Livingston, Alabama, and we were fortunate to kind of keep a circle going, so we went from Livingston for 4 years. I was 3 years assistant, 1 year as a head coach, and then we had another opportunity at Valdosta State, and so we were there 16 years, and then life began to happen a little bit for us. My mom got diagnosed with non-Hodgkin lymphoma. Molly's dad had some health issues as well as her mom, and so we prayed about it and made some family decisions. We took an associate head job at Southern Miss. We're there 3 years, and then an opportunity arose at Western Carolina, and so we were there 5 years, and then another opportunity arose again, and that's how we ended up here and back full circle to the great state where we were here and grew up. And I've had so many people, Chase, who have reached out that I hadn't heard from in years, that, you know, welcome us back to the state, welcome us to the Delph, you know, and so we're so excited to be here, you know, on campus today. My in-laws came by to see me, so that hasn't happened in 30 years, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Well, we are so glad that you are here, and you have a lot of experience with D2. You mentioned Valdosta State, and what particularly drew you back to the Division II level and Ouachita in particular?
Well, I think for the beginning part for me for Ouachita is the overall mission of this university. That is first and foremost. The second part is I just know that Ouachita, being in the Gulf South when I was in it at Valdosta State, and also part of being at West Al, that level of Division II, I know that the mission, the focus, the opportunity to pour into kids can be here. Division I level sometimes can be such a business, and it becomes transactional. And I'm not a transactional person. And I think that you have a chance to be transformative with kids. You have to be super impactful opportunities with kids. And you can do that at different spots, but there's certain things that you can just do more of at Ouachita and do more of at Division II level than you can at other spots. And again, we've been blessed to be a lot of different things, experience a lot of different opportunities, but that kind of gives a nutshell of why we wanted to be here.
Well, in the modern climate of college basketball, you can see a lot of turnover, especially in terms of personnel with a new coaching hire.
Yeah.
But you mentioned it earlier, 11 returners for Ouachita, 2 players that had already pre-committed. What does that mean to have that foundation of players that are not only familiar with the program but have already had a great deal of success?
Well, I think it's tremendous. I mean, I was able to talk with them on Monday. We had a long conversation. We've been together for the last couple of days. And so they've helped me, because I'm kind of blind nil right now, not learning, not knowing everything about the campus, knowing things that I didn't even know where the basketballs were at. So just simple things that they've helped to be able to quickly say, this is what we had been doing. These are things that we liked, things we did not like, things that we felt. So again, at the end of the day, I may be the figurehead in terms of a head women's basketball coach, but those kids, those young women, they're the foundation. They are the ones that they live it on a day-to-day basis. And so if we can put them in a position and have that many core kids who want to be here, because when we interviewed, one of the questions we asked, I said, why Ouachita? And one of the things that they said, because of the people, because of the tremendous academic pieces of it, the Christian base here at Ouachita, but they also said there's a group of 7, almost 8, I think, sophomore big class, and they had made a pact to say, we're going to stick it out. And so when you have that, and you have that ownership already with it, and you're coming in as a new Yahoo or whatever to a program, I just think that's just one more advantage that you have to make you one step as you're trying to climb that mountain of championship level performance. And because I think, and I've said this for years, I know I'm talking a lot here with Chase, but I think the women's game is not so much X's and O's. The women's game is about the relationships you have, and from the caring standpoint of those pieces. So you already see that, and so that's already 40%, 50%, 60% and beyond of the battle that you have to fight every day, and building a great culture.
Well, Coach, you mentioned climbing the mountaintop. Obviously, basketball is a process. You probably know that better than anybody.
Yeah.
Maybe what are some of your short-term goals for this program, and maybe how did those develop into some of your longer-term goals for the program?
Well, I think initially, my wife Molly taught elementary for many, many years, and one of the things I use the word blessed a lot, and we have 2 kiddos, and one of the things that she always taught me, and we knew we were going to have kids, is she wanted to raise independent children, so not so much children, but independent adults. And so one of the things she also taught me is to meet their kids where they're at. So when she taught in our classroom, she meet them where they're at, and our kids meet them where they're at. And so that's one of my first and foremost goals, is meet them where they're at. Because not where they've been, not where they're going, find out who they are, what's their makeup, what helps them, what's going to be a chance that each one of us are motivated in different ways. How can I help them succeed? That's the number 1 goal. Number 2, is establish our cultural pieces of our foundational, what can we say, our core values, so to speak, along with giving them opportunity to be active participants in bringing their ability to the table, their pieces to the table. Then from there, the third prong is what we've tried to begin doing, is begin in introducing our corporate language. Introducing those things and our things that we're expecting on a day-to-day basis, because we all are creatures of habits. So the better our habits are, the better things that we're not having to expend energy to think so much about things. So we're trying to quickly establish quality footwork, passing, catching, playing in space, understanding those things, and being very vocal, because we want to be able, Ouachita, to be the best communicating team in the GAC, and have a chance to every night to compete on a very high level. So initially, those are our 3 things. We can talk about expectations, we can talk about goals. I could go on and on, as you can probably tell, Chase, when we talk about these things, but those initially are off the top of my head, because it's as I mentioned, we've talked to these kids briefly. They've got to learn me. I consider myself a teacher, except my classroom is a little bit bigger at times. And one of the things you have to be able to do is know your class. And so that's the process we're trying to figure out short term, so we can do a lot of things long term.
Well, Coach, I think that is all the time that we have for right now, but We are so glad that you are here, and we are looking forward to getting to know you better in the coming months. If you would like to get to know Coach Kiley Hill better, be sure to check out his full bio at obutigers.com. But for the time being, that is going to do it. Coach, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks.
And welcome to Tiger Nation.
Go Tigers!